Hey everybody, welcome to Bestie Book Reviews. I'm here with my bestie Mandy.
And I'm here with my bestie Jessica. For how long? I don't know because I don't know what this video is about.
This is... Really? Okay, so we're doing it that way this time. This is our Convincing My Bestie to Read series, and today...
She's actually holding her hand over her nose so I can't even peek.
That's what doesn't fall off my lap. Today, I'm going to be convincing Mandy to read post-apocalyptic romance.
Okay. Oh, actually, I did know this is what we
did. We talked about it because we had the poll.
Yes.
We had the poll and people voted. And for the longest time before we left to come to Seattle, it was tied. I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. But then it got so.
I'm just so nervous for when you're like, reverse Hera.
I will not doing that to you yet.
I know it's coming.
Eventually. If you want to see that one, guys, you have to comment to force Mandy to do that one. But the poll, I love having you guys vote on it. And I don't know what it says right now on the poll because when we left, I was like, okay, post-apocalyptic is winning. But it was tied and then neck and neck. So, all right, you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, so before
we start.
I left the book over there again.
Jinx, you owe me a Coke.
I left the book over there
or
again.
Pepsi. So you want me to get up and go get it? Or I guess we're gonna
No, I put it away. Hold on. I did put it away. Hold on, people. Before we get started, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. What are we giving away now?
We're giving away Elsie Silver's Flawless. And it is signed. Yes. We got it signed. We're filming this part of the Bestie Book Convincing at Lovin' Seattle. So there it is.
So we were able to get that signed by Elsie today. So when we hit 250 subscribers, one of you lucky people will win this book.
Look at the cover, isn't it?
It's gorgeous. Cool. Yeah, it's in the alternate cover. And don't forget to head over onto our Instagram channel and follow us over there for an extra. Like, go ahead.
I was going to say for an extra like.
For an extra entry.
Jinx!
There's a Pepsi in the refrigerator over there.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, so let's get started.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yep.
So I'm going to be giving Mandy my 6 top post-apocalyptic reads. And I've told you about a couple of these before. So these are going to be like repeat for you. Not all of them, a couple of them, because I've been trying to get you to read them forever.
I got my Dr. Rebecca
Sharp pen
here, and I'm ready to take my notes.
Okay, so the first one is the After the Plague series by Imogen Keeper. Now, right now this is the first and the second book in it. They're really small, as you guys can see, they're very small. But she has the first 3 in a bind up on Amazon that you can get, where you can get the first 3, so it actually feels like a book. A full book.
So if I pick this, am I picking the first 3?
You can stop after the first one. But the only caveat is in the first one, our main characters don't even meet yet.
Oh, okay.
They meet in this one. So it's really just setting it up. Okay. So this obviously is post-apocalyptic. So this is about Frankie. And Frankie is living with her husband when this starts. And there is this flu that started like in France and it's going around. It's a lot like COVID. It's kind of scary. There's this flu and people are dying from this flu. And she and her husband so far have been very lucky that they haven't gotten it yet. And during this time, we also meet, dang it, what's his name? You have to cut this out.
This is very dramatic.
I know. York! That's not a place. That's his name. I thought that was a place. Okay, so then during this time we meet York. He's retired, or not retired, he's active military and he's been sent home because all the military people have been sent home. And he is trying to find his brother who lives in the same area as Frankie, who's gotten into drugs. And so he's trying to find his brother. He's immune to whatever's going on. Okay. So he knows he's immune. And so this is their stories of how they get to that point where they meet. Along the way, Frankie, it's very emotional.
Okay.
Because she becomes on her own at this point. So you can only imagine how that is. And on the worst day of her life, she meets this little boy that she takes in as her own. He's lost his parents, and he's just sitting in the house waiting for someone to come get him. And she just sees a light on, and she goes, it's so sad. But then in the second book, they meet up, and he protects her. It's a very slow burn, and the series is not complete yet. But it was complete enough that I know where I stopped. So, and it's been a year, and I remember the last book just came out, and I haven't read it yet. But
if it's the last book,
not the last book, the latest book. I think there's going to be a couple more. So I really love this series. It's one of my absolute favorites. And it's really hard to find a good post-apocalyptic. That is good. Okay. So the next one that I have for you, my paper won't turn. Oh, it's Pestilence.
Oh, I have this sitting on my bookshelf.
You do have this sitting on your bookshelf at home. So this is Pestilence by Laura Thalassa. This is probably the 80th time I've told Mandy to read this. So the cover looks a little different when you're looking online to get like on Amazon, but this is my Mystic Box cover. So
that's pretty.
Isn't it beautiful? Okay, so this is about the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. So you've got pestilence, war, famine, and death. Each one has a book. So it's an interconnected series, but they're individual. Okay, so this is about Sarah and Pestilence. Sarah is a firefighter in Winthrop. And when Pestilence rides through on his horse, it kills everybody. Like everybody gets pestilence and they die, right? So it kills everybody. So we start out in Winthrop, and she's at the firehouse, and they know he's coming. Like they've been radioed that he's coming. Like he just trots down the road slowly on his horse, but they know he's coming. And so all the firefighters are drawing straws to see who would stay behind to try and kill Pestilence. She draws the short straw, or match, or whatever it was. And so she waits on the side of the road for him, and she shoots him. She tries to kill him, but he doesn't die. Like he'll fall off his horse, and he has to like regenerate, but he doesn't die. And so then he hunts her down and finds her and decides to take her with him. He's not nice to her, but he decides to take her with him as he travels from Winthrop through Vancouver, out to Victoria, down into Blaine, and down I-5. So, yeah. But as she's with him, he starts to see like humanity, like she starts to soften him a little bit. And so these books, all 4 of these books are amazing. Actually, War is like my all-time favorite. But these are good. These are so good.
Sorry.
I'm sorry I'm boring you.
You cut me up too late.
Okay. So that's that one.
It's 8:30 and I'm...
It's 8:30 and look at you. Okay.
I'll cut that out.
I know. Okay. So the next one is Folsom by Fisher and Astor. If you need to see what it is. Well, Fisher and Astor. Okay. So this takes place, the world is different. All of our men are gone. Like all the men died except for like 12 of them. We have only 12 men left. And they call them the End Men. And they're divided up into 12 sections in the US. So we have 12 little sections. Their job is to go around and knock everybody up.
I can see why you like this.
I love it. I might have a slight breeding kink, but they go around and and that's what they do. And so it's been a long time since we had men around. I mean, not that long because you have kids, but they've tried other ways to make it work, and it just doesn't. And baby boys are not being born; they're just having girls after girls. So there's all these girls that are being born. So when a boy is born, it's like a really big deal. And so Folsom, they draw lotteries when they get to a new section and they that's unless you have a lot of money and you can buy your appointment with him. They draw lotteries, and that's how you know that you get to go and possibly get to be a mother by yourself. So Folsom actually gets to this district and he meets Gwen. Gwen is kind of like a scientist, if I remember right. She's researching some of this stuff, and she's different. There's like an attraction. They meet before he actually goes to service her. But she starts to find out what's happening behind the scenes and what's really going on, and like the whole conspiracy behind it. So, and this one's a rather short book too. Okay, so there's only 2 out in this Inman series, and I don't know if the author just like abandoned them because they've been out for a while, but both of them are really good. So that was Folsom. She's laughing because she saw what it is. Now, do not judge. It's all good. The next book is Fire in His Blood by Ruby Dixon. Now, Mandy knows how much I love Ruby Dixon and her ice plants. I promise there are no big blue aliens in this one.
Really?
There's big yellow dragons. Shifter. They turned him in. Okay, so this is after the world it has ended. Like a rift opened up in the sky one day, and these dragons came through and like destroyed everything.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay. This
So
person has an imagination.
she's got a great imagination. Yeah. So we have Claudia, and she's been barely scraping by. She's lives in a bus with like her little sister and a friend, and they're in this little settlement. And basically, if you don't, to make ends meet, you almost like gotta whore yourself out to the military guys there to actually eat. So that's what one of the friend does that. She does that, and so Claudia has red hair, and the dragons are really attracted to red, the color red. And so one day she's a scavenger. That's how she's making money for them. She'll illegally go out and scavenge things for the family and take stereos out of things or whatever, and then sell them. Well, the mayor or the guy in charge there finds out that she's doing this, and so she's been put in prison for doing this because it's illegal. Only they can do it apparently. And so they dress her up instead of punishing her. They dress her up in a red dress, and they take her to this tall building, and they tie her up, and they wait. They leave her for the dragon because they feel like if they can sacrifice her to the dragon, then maybe the dragon will stop destroying their city.
Okay.
But when the dragon shows up, he shifts into a man because she's his fated mate. Don't laugh. It's really good. Anyhow, it's a whole series.
You baited me on that laughing.
Okay. So that's that one. So then the next book that I have is The Third Storm, which is the one I've just finished by Liz Hamilton.
Okay.
Okay. So this is about Rowan. So when we start our weather has gone crazy. That's what's destroyed the world. Like we were having floods and tsunamis and hurricanes and tornadoes and just crazy weather. And so we meet Rowan. She's in the opening scene. She is on a floating air mattress in their basement because the top half of the house has been ruined. In the basement, and the basement is flooding. And she's trying to stay awake, and she's talking about how the air mattress is bumping on the sides. And she's got her two nephews with her. I think they're 6. Their names are Bo and Lewis. And I love this because she calls them Baloo. Twin boys. She calls them Baloo, Bo and Lewis. And so her sister has died trying to protect the kids, and so she has the kids now. She was previously engaged, and so she has a past. She has things that happened to her. And then we find out that she has to get to this ship. The government has these big ships that have been conspiracy theories, but turned out they were really there. Okay. And the purpose of the ship is to get ahead of the storm and to stay out in the ocean ahead of these storms that are coming in. And they have to be there for a year because the earth has got to reset itself. So she's been told by a friend, come to the where we're getting on the ships. She has to pretend to be military personnel. And so he gives her the name of a woman who has passed away, but nobody knows that she's passed away, and she is retired military. And she's honorably discharged. Was honorably discharged the year before. This woman has 2 children, and a husband. And so they're trying to make their way there, and it's just her and the kids. Well, along the way, they find an unconscious man, and the little boys won't let her leave him behind, so they load him up. And when they get there, she tells the people that this is her husband. Mm-hmm. And so they put her in this little tiny shoebox of a room, and that's where how they have to live for the next year. When Sam wakes up, she calls him Sam. That's not his name. When he wakes up, he really won't give her name. But he is running from a past and from decisions and things that he had to make during the storms. And there's something there. They're both working. Okay. They have to rely on each other. They only have each other. They can only trust each other. So at some points it was almost kind of insular, but when you figure it's the end of the world and they only have each other, it'd be easy to glom onto somebody like that. Mm-hmm. So he steps up as dad and husband, but there's other things going on because that ex-fiance is the guy who got her on the ship. And he's very possessive. And there's a lot of stuff going on here. And this is the start of a 3-book series. Okay. But you can at least read the first one, see if you like it. Okay, so there's that one. And then the last one is A Wilderness Within by Emma Castle. So this one is extremely close to the pandemic. And Emma actually says in the foreword, she wrote this in the year before, in 2019, the year before COVID happened. But the similarities are crazy. So just so everybody knows, it was written before that. So this is about Lincoln and Caroline. So Lincoln is military. And he's been in a bunker with the president and the vice president. And then I think there was a guy that stepped up after the vice president died to be president. And now he's like the last one in the bunker. They've all died of this flu-like virus that like sucks all the fluids out of your body. You turn to chalk, basically, and you die.
Ooh.
Yeah. So he's been in this bunker this whole time. Caroline was the only survivor. She was flying home to see her family. She flew into Chicago. They shut down O'Hare Airport, which is a huge hub in the U.S. It's a huge airport. And this flu broke out while she was there waiting for her flight. And so they locked them all in there. And she was the only survivor to walk out of this. Okay. So they meet up along the way. He finds her in like an abandoned house. And he basically says, well, you're the first woman I've seen. You're awfully cute. It's the end of the world. I'm keeping you.
Right.
But then she talks him into going to check on her family to find out what happens to her family, and they travel around. It's actually at the end, it has a very good, hopeful story eventually, but very, very good. So those are your 6 options.
Okay.
What are you going to do?
Oh my gosh. This is hard. This is harder than I thought it would be.
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
I kind of feel like doing that.
We can cut it out if we have to.
We can cut out my long pauses.
Yeah.
I think, okay.
The third storm.
Okay, I think that I'm going to read The Third Storm.
Okay.
Just, you've been talking about that.
I have all weekend,
recently,
haven't I?
And I was like, that sounds really good. I think I want to read that. So yeah, but several of these sound good. So I definitely will be putting several of them on my TBR.
Okay.
I don't know about the dragon shapeshifter.
Well, if it's not for you, it's probably for one of them.
I know.
Okay, but yeah, they're all good. And it's really hard to find a really good post-apocalyptic story. So these are like the best ones that I can find that I really like. So don't yawn. All right, so we'll check back with you after you get done reading the book and see how you like it. Okay. Okay, Mandy, so you finished the book.
I did.
Books, because you read the whole trilogy.
I did. Thank you
I
for tricking me into reading 3 books instead of 1.
It really, I only wanted you to read the first one, and then I was like, if you like it, then you continue on. But obviously you continued on. So
I did.
Yeah. Okay, so tell us.
I really enjoyed them. I gave it a 4.5 stars for the 3 of them. They were all really good. It's definitely more of a mystery. I don't even know I would call it romantic suspense. I feel this is my definition for it. It's mystery with smut. There's a lot going on in this book.
And she even says in the beginning of the book that she likes very fast paced, like get into the stuff right away. And that's how she writes. I loved them.
Yeah,
So-
there's some jumps, not like significant time jumps, but there are some jumps to like where something's happening and then we kind of move forward a little bit faster. And there were a few times where it was like, well, you could have like told us more about these things, but I don't want to say what those things are because I don't want to give anything away because there's so much that's happening in this book.
Yeah, but they're really good. And it's hard to find really good post-apocalyptic. And this is good post-apocalyptic. I loved it. So
yeah, it was a fantastic trilogy.
Yeah. Yay. Okay, I'm glad you liked them. All right. So I'm nervous to find out what Mandy's going to torture me with in the next one. But
I am very excited.
About what you're going to do next?
To torture you.
To torture me. I know she is. She loves it.
I don't even know what. You like the only thing you don't really like that I do enjoy, and I don't like, you give me a bad time about YA. I do read some YA, but it's not like the only thing I read. And I can go from like a YA book to like a very dark book. Like I'm kind of all over the place with my reading, but you are as well. Like I don't tend to veer off on some of like the crazier things like aliens and stuff like that, like you do, but you're everywhere. So I don't know that there's really anything I can convince you to read that you haven't already tried.
Yeah, it's easier for me to convince you because there's a lot of things that I jump into that you haven't even dipped your toes in yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I know what I'm going to do.
Okay.
So,
all right.
I have a couple ideas.
Okay, so that'll be out here in a week or so. So tune in to see that. But thanks for watching this video.
Yes, make sure that you subscribe to our channel. Find us on Instagram at Bestie Book Reviews. We're pretty easy. Every platform, we're just Bestie Book Reviews. Sometimes we have to put a period in there, but that's us. And Jessica changed our picture, I noticed.
We did.
Yes.
We took a good picture at Love in Seattle.
Yeah, we did.
We did.
All right. And then check back for videos from us on Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays.
We'll see you guys in the next video.